Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I'm not sure. We're just checking our volumes here to make sure that everybody can hear us. I think we can. Hi, everybody. It's so great to see you all having such fun. I feel guilty interrupting your conversations. So bear with me while we go through the meeting. No, thank you. It's great to see you all, really. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody. So as a bit of a shout out for Valentine's Day, I want to just thank those couples who are part of the Rotary Club. We have a special membership for couples, and they are Dave Meyer and Cindy Neihart, Kyla Cox Deckard and Trent Deckard, yes, and Martha Foster and Aaron Davis. So congratulations to those three couples. So if you are a single member of a couple's family and you would like to bring your spouse into the club as a member, you can do it that way as well. So here's something else that I'm going to do. This is not my poem, but the challenge is for you to work out how this poem came about. Valentine's Day poem for the Bloomington Rotary Club. On this Valentine's Day, I want to convey my appreciation for the Rotary way. Your dedication to service, your hearts so true, makes Bloomington a better place thanks to you. With kindness and compassion, you help those in need through projects and grants. You plant many a seed for the growth of the community, the betterment for all. You inspire us to answer the service call. So let us raise a toast to the Rotary Club on this day of love. Your commitment we dub as a shining example of what can be done when we come together and serve as one. Isn't that nice? How did that happen? AI. So ChatGPT. Last night I challenged the ChatGPT app to create a poem, and this is what it came up with. Isn't that amazing? So thank you. Thanks, Roy. Yes, yes. Another quick shout out, Judy. It's great to have you back. Judy Witt is in the house. Everybody, thank you so much. It's great. Yeah. Okay, without further ado, let's have another reflection here from Patrick Smith.
Thank you, Alon. Good afternoon, Rotary, Bloomington Rotary. My name is Patrick Smith, and I will be giving you your reflection for today. I'm going to focus on Black History Month. Let's see if we can get this. Good. Okay. So, Black History Month just did not evolve in a vacuum. The father of Black History Month is Carter G. Woodson, who's a very, very educated man and who had a concern for identifying and acknowledging the accomplishments of African-American people. He was born in 1875, very, like I said, as I stated, very accomplished in terms of the things that he achieved. He authored several books. One notable one is The Miseducation of the Negro. He is the founder of the Association of the Study of Negro Life and History, which eventually evolved into Black History Month. This is just some of his background, some of his educational accomplishments. And one notable aspect about him, he's the first person of enslaved parents to receive a PhD in history. So just to give you a little background of Black History Month, this is just an evolution. As I stated, he formed the Association of the Study for Negro Life and History in 1924 to acknowledge the accomplishments of African Americans. He formed Negro Literature and History Week, which became eventually Negro History Week, and then in the 40s it expanded to Negro History Month, and then in the 1960s it was replaced by Black History Month, which actually replaced Negro History Week. And the month of February was consequently selected as the month to celebrate that. To discuss some pioneers of Black history, I think it's really important. And while it's important to acknowledge some of the pioneers of Black history, it's more important to focus on how they accomplished what they achieved as opposed to just focusing on the accomplishments from the standpoint of first. So Dr. Percy L. Julian is an individual who Carter G. Woodson would have endeavored to identify and acknowledge for the accomplishments that he has made. Percy L. Julian, how many of you have heard of Percy L. Julian? Oh, excellent, excellent. Okay, so pioneered treatment in glaucoma, Alzheimer's, very, very accomplished, as I stated, in terms of his research, and he's the first chemist elected to National Academy of Sciences. And I have another individual who is very accomplished in his research is Dr. Herbert C. Smitherman Sr. Now, I'll let you read some of his accomplishments and you'll probably see, oh, there's Crest toothpaste. Now, he did not invent Crest toothpaste. That was, in fact, created by some researchers here at Indiana University. However, what this gentleman did, he improved upon the formula and actually had patents that contributed to the improvement of many of these products that you see. And how many of you are familiar with Dr. Charles Drew? Okay. Again, a renowned surgeon, African-American surgeon, father of the blood bank, and he's very well known for his research in blood plasma preservation, which is very critical and pivotal in saving many lives of soldiers during World War II, and the first medical director of the American Red Cross. And also, if you see those Red Cross mobile blood banks, he's very instrumental in developing and organizing those vehicles. But again, as I stated before, the real purpose of Black History Month, just really quickly, is to demonstrate the relevance of African Americans, not just in terms of our achievements, but our contributions to the United States of America. What's really important, among other things, is these accomplishments often were made under situations where there were diminished resources, under racism, under discrimination, and under doubt in terms of, as it relates to their abilities. So that's really what I want you to leave with in terms of understanding what Black History Month is, its relevance, its importance, and is not something to be trivialized from the standpoint of a moment of first, but it's accomplishments that we have made as a people toward the development of this country. So with that, I will end it and turn it back over to our president.
Thanks so much, Patrick. And how fantastic to have the NAACP as part of our organization as well. Really very special. Okay, so a few things here. We've got a few birthdays to celebrate. Judy Witt, once again, February 14th. Happy birthday today. Yes. Erica Kovacs is February 15th. Yolanda Trevino is February 15th. Kyla Cox-Deckard, February 18th, and Jim Cryway, likewise, February 18th. So happy birthday to all of you. Yeah, great. We have one member anniversary to celebrate. Judge Jeff Bradley is 9 years in Rotary, so congratulations to Jeff. Yeah, good, thank you. And now let's welcome our guest. Jim, do you want to come up to the podium here? And Michael's going to be introducing any guests online. So first of all, Jim.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. On Valentine's Day, I have to say, I just love being here with all of you people. So I'm sure our guests feel the same way. Let's start, and if you could stand up so we can acknowledge you. Scarlett Saisi, is with our speaker, Scarlett. Ann Bright, and it doesn't say who she's a guest of. Jim Bright, of course. Dr. Trudy Weddle is a guest of Joyce Poling from Ivy Tech. Doug Wissing is a guest of Jim Bright and has been a speaker at our club. Memorable program, by the way. Hopi Stossberg is a guest of Dave Meyer. And Renee Miller is a guest of Sarah Laughlin. Welcome to all. And if you'd like to know more about Rotary, or if you'd like to consider becoming a member, just talk to any of our members. Thank you. And Michael with the online guests.
Yeah, hi, Jim. We have 3 guests online today. Carolyn Frey, Linda Stevenson, and my old LBMC pal and yoga aficionado, Mike Gentile.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Michael. So a few club updates that I'll quickly go through here. First of all, congratulations to Charlotte Zietler on a fabulous showing at the Morgenstern's Club over the weekend, Morgenstern's book store. She spoke about her book, 1971, How We Won. And I believe there were any number of Rotarians there as well, including somebody who took a picture with her. Teresa Clare took a wonderful picture with her and posted on Facebook, so thank you. On Saturday, as you well know, the Palo Alto Bloomington relationship is now really sort of developing. We had a very interesting kickoff of our civil discourse project, which is going to result in conversations between members of our community and members of the Palo Alto community about themes that we think would be interesting to talk about. I participated in my first civil discourse conversation using what they call the living room method, living room conversations method, and it was really fantastic. So I will be sending information out to you sometime on email to let you know about opportunities that you might want to take advantage of as well. So that's something to think about. Hoosier Hills Food Bank Project with Teresa Clare as a leader. A few spaces are still available for February 28th, I believe. Yep. We also have the Habitat Build in March, March 18th and 25th. There are plenty of places for anybody who wants to get involved in that. And then don't forget the district conference on April 22nd. So put that in your calendars as well. We hope to get as many of you there as possible. Other projects that are happening, I will every now and then send you an email that's too long, my apologies, but it does have information about events and activities that you might be interested in doing. And I urge you to just read through and then you can delete it. That's fine, there's no problem with me. Jeff McKim, I believe that you have an announcement or would like to say something about the Rotary grant.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. This is Jeff McKim, and I'm here to announce that it's that time of year again to be looking for a community project that the Bloomington Rotary Club can support with a grant of up to $6,000. This past fall, many of you volunteered at our last project to help with a series of field trips to allow elementary school children at Title I schools to visit a couple of local farms and learn about healthy food and sustainable agriculture. Now it's time to start working on a community project for 2023. The proposal has to come from a Bloomington Rotary Club member in collaboration with a nonprofit organization here in Bloomington. And here's the kicker, though. Besides the need for the project to be sponsored by a Rotarian, the project needs to make use of Rotarian volunteers. The deadline for submission of the application is 5 p.m. on Friday, March 10th. We'll be sending out a link to the application form, but you can also contact me anytime at jeff.mckim, geoff.mckim @gmail.com if you want more information or just to talk ideas over. Committee members will review applications and notify the winning organization by April 7th. And hopefully the Rotary District Office will approve the award in August, hopefully by August 1st. And the project will then need to be completed between August 1st and February 1st of 2024. So again, please contact me at geoff.mckim@gmail.com if you're interested. And I can't wait to hear your ideas and proposals. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you. Jeff, thank you so much for your leadership on this project. It's really very special. It's one of the sort of keystone projects of our year, and it's really great to see that you're already kicking it off. We will be actually circulating a little form for you to fill out if you have ideas of the types of projects that you would like to see. So let me invite Susie Graham to join me at the podium here talking about the RI Foundation.
Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day to you. My husband and I have been married 33 years this year, always in love. And after probably about 25 years of, flowers and chocolates and going out to dinner, we decided there were probably better ways that we could make use of the money that we were putting forth toward Valentine's gifts. And so we decided that we would each choose a nonprofit organization to make a contribution on Valentine's Day. And as we were talking about this year's, we decided that we both wanted to support the people of Ukraine and what was going on. And I said, I can make that happen through the Rotary International website. So I wanted to share with you today very, very quickly how we did that. And maybe it will help those of you who haven't yet decided on that gift for your loved one, what you can do for them. So if you are checking out our screen up here, the easiest way to get to the Rotary International website is to find your last issue of the Roundabout. And as you scroll down on the left-hand panel, you're going to see this very attractive logo with I put the blue arrow in. It's not going to be on your Roundabout. Click on that, and it's going to take you directly to this page. It's very straightforward. You know that you're here to make a gift, right? You click donate. You scroll again, and what it does here is that it gives you some framework for making your gift, right? Maybe you want to make your gift in honor of someone, as a memorial to someone. Maybe you want to do something on a recurring basis. Maybe you want to think about making a planned gift for the future. These are the different sort of frameworks in which you can structure a gift. Well, thank you on that. Next, you have to figure out, well, what do I want to support? They give you these beautiful little tiles that if you click on each one, it gives you a little snapshot of what those gifts can do, right? And so what you're seeing here are growing local economies. Maybe you want to support education. Maybe you're interested in fighting polio and other diseases. So you can learn about those there. And then the next page, you actually get to choose what you're going to do. So if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you see these are the featured causes. And this is really part of the beauty of Rotary. They pivot so well, right? Whenever there is a situation somewhere on this planet that needs our help, they can find a way to get funds to it. And so you'll see here, in addition to our usual funds, polio, our World Fund, we have a button here that you can direct support to what's happening in Turkey and the Syrian area, or there's the Ukrainian button that my husband and I chose, Pakistan flood relief. You choose what you want, you click it, it's super easy, and then you move on. These are the general areas of focus, right? The things that we typically have on an ongoing basis. You put in your gift amount. They have a suggested one, but you can put any gift amount that you like. You put in your name, your ID, and your serial number, and boom, you're good to go. So it's that easy. This is, Ken Nunn was here a couple of weeks ago, and it is just that easy. And I would have had no shame in telling him that. So I offer this to you perhaps as a little motivation for you to perhaps make a gift to Rotary for someone you love. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Susie. It's great to see somebody from Park Ridge East here as well. It's nice to see you, as well as Phil. Phil's from Park Ridge East as well. So I do think that we have time for happy dollars. So if anybody wants to, Tracy, my apologies, I should have warned you about this. So maybe somebody online wants to kick it off first with a happy dollar for Valentine's Day and supporting Teachers Warehouse, of course. Anybody online? Michael,
Yes.
What makes you happy today?
I'll take it over. I'm Raj, not
No,
Mike.
okay, don't worry, Michael. We put you on spot. We're ready for the room here. So if somebody wants to,
Yes,
sorry,
will
we
give-
do have somebody. Good.
I have $5 honoring my guest today, Michael Gentile, for a good man, a good Bloomington citizen, and I am proud to have him to be my guest today.
Fantastic. Thank you, Raj. Thank you.
And we have Liz here.
Hi, I have two happy dollars. One is to honor my daughter who just got back from Nairobi doing a service project there. I'm very glad she didn't have any trouble getting there or back, and the work was wonderful, she said. And then also today is my mother's 96th birthday.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Wow. Thank you.
I would like to honor the family of refugees that our club supports and say that for $20, I would like to contribute on their behalf for Amina, who's in our intensive English program and hopefully will be joining us from that program in a few minutes. Her mother, Jawa here, who's working at my sister's closet, learning to become a entrepreneur and English. Father Rahim, who is working full-time at IU Dining, thanks to volunteer help. And the son, Shamzula, who's also working at IU Dining. They were doing so well with the support of Exodus and our Rotary Club. Thank you.
Great. Fantastic.
Happy Valentine's Day, Rotarians. First, I wanted to express the incredible love that we are receiving from all of you for our refugees. I'm donating $10 today in behalf of that, and to announce that we are now finally taking some alterations work if you want to pass it on through my sister's closet to our fabulous refugee. And what I want to emphasize, since some of you are already bringing us things, is that you need to bring it into us because we are not allowed to, with her visa status, let her take in things as a subcontractor. So it has to go through her payroll, but she's doing a great job. And thank you also to our Rotarian family who from Teachers Warehouse, who's donated some learning materials for her as we are teaching her to read on site. We're so very, very grateful, and she's so amazing. So thank you.
And Sarah and Sally and I had hoped to tell you last week to see the new WTIU documentary on the Indiana Theater, because we were all involved in making sure that that documentary happened to celebrate the 100th anniversary. So it'll be around and you'll get a chance, another chance. So do enjoy it.
That's great. Amazing. Let's have one more, so you can choose who you'd like to.
All right, Jim. I want to get you with your mouth full.
Hello, Rotarians. I have 5 happy dollars for Teachers Warehouse, and it's for Patrick's reflection. And what I really want everyone to think about today, did you catch yourself saying, I didn't know that? Well, that's because I was never taught in history in our schools as we were growing up. So I just want you to keep that thought. We want Black history to be part of American history in our school systems. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree. Great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll try and do it again next week so that everybody else can have a word. Thank you so much for the Rotarians who are leading our community in the arts. I was at the 100th anniversary celebration of the Bosco Chamber Theatre. It was really amazing to actually see how many Rotarians were playing a significant role in that project. So thanks to all of you. Okay, well, today, thank you so much for our greeter, Jim Shea, as well as introducing the guests. Thank you, Jim. Michael Shermas for holding the fort there with Zoom. Patrick Smith, very much for your reflection. Thank you so much. Evan Brewington, who is our reporter for the month, and Tracer Jovanovic for so expertly handling the microphone and camera there. And then Tyler Martin Nichols so much for handling our technology. Thank you to all of you. So let's move on to our program here with our special guest, Sarah Laffner. I'm going to invite you to the podium here.
I am so pleased today to introduce Najia Shehzad. She's currently working as a financial manager in the Marion County Treasurer's Office. She holds a BA from IU and has just finished her MBA from IUPUI. Think about that. And she's currently, she has 19 years of experience in corporate industries, from banking to financial institutions, humanitarian organizations, and in the public sector before leaving Afghanistan in a hurry in 2021. She recently founded the Afghan American Community Center in Indianapolis, and I hope she's going to tell us a little bit more about that. She was assisted by the Afghan Refugee Resettlement Program at Camp Atterbury and in Indianapolis. And that's what got us started on thinking about hosting a refugee family. So we're really happy to have her with us today. She's an advocate for women's empowerment and loves to play tennis, travel, write books, and explore new cultures and traditions. And here's something enviable. She speaks English, Dari, Pashto, Urdu, and Hindi. She lives in Indianapolis, is married to Aimal Hoshmand, and has 3 young children and a brand new baby who just turned 1 month old. And yet she is still here today. So it's amazing. Today, she will tell the story of her family's harrowing escape from Afghanistan, her journey to Indiana, and her hopes and dreams for the future. Please give a warm Rotary welcome to Najia Sherzad.
Well, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day. I'm very happy to be here as a speaker and meeting these wonderful people. I've been to a couple of other Rotary Club meetings, and I have always enjoyed being in these meetings and spread the word about the new community, new neighbors in the United States. So thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. Yeah, I'm one of the Afghan communities, Afghan families here. I do have a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, but I just want to briefly start with my journey from Afghanistan, how we could escape Afghanistan. And this is not my story. This is the story of those thousands of Afghans who had to flee their home in the middle of the night, without anything, and could not take even a second set of clothes. So that has been a very hard journey for all of us. But yeah, thank you very much for this very warm welcome. Being an Afghan, we had, while staying at Camp Atterbury, and I'll come to that, where our journey started and how we ended up at Camp Atterbury in Indiana. But we had those mixed kind of feelings being at Camp Atterbury. We were excited, but we were also nervous at the same time. We did not know where we would end up and what kind of community, what kind of neighborhood it will be where we would start our new life. So there was a kind of fear. But luckily, I can tell you that on behalf of all those Afghans who are living in Indianapolis, that we feel very grateful, we feel very fortunate to end up on this part of the world where people are very kind and very welcoming. So thank you very much. I will start my presentation, and this is just to make it easy. That's why I have made it in PowerPoint. So yeah, as you all know, I'll skip my introduction. There was an introduction already done. So as you know, last year, not last year, in 2021, the Taliban entered Afghanistan. They occupied many cities and provinces, as we call them, province, but they're states. And finally, they entered Kabul on August 15. I was one of the residents in Kabul, and I was living there with my family and kids and having a job, a normal life. But things changed overnight after Taliban entered Kabul. I will come back to that later, but I just do a brief introduction about Afghanistan. Most of you know about the country Afghanistan. Some of you have been in Afghanistan, but there are some of the information that I would always love to share with you, with everyone, just to give you a picture how Afghanistan was functioning as a country and what happened to it after this militant group, who are called Taliban, entered Kabul and Afghanistan and took the rule of the government. So Afghanistan, as a geography, as you know, it's situated in the South Asia region, and it's mostly a mountainous country with very high mountains like Hindu Kush and Pamir. Also, the total area of Afghanistan is 652,230 square kilometer. Afghanistan is estimated to be inhabited by humans at least 50,000 years ago. So we have a very long history. Afghanistan is neighbored with Pakistan, Iran, Tajikistan, in these countries. And it won its independence from British in 1990, August 1990. And in August 2021, the Islamic fundamentalists, as we call them, Taliban, overran the country, the latest group to rule the country since 1979. The capital is Kabul. The population, not now, but this is the estimate number from 2021, the beginning of 2021, which was around 37.5 million people. As I mentioned, that Afghanistan was a normal country. People had normal life. As you can see, students from school, their graduation ceremony, how the people dressed back in 80s, 70s, and 80s. Later on, things changed a bit. But yeah, there was freedom, there was liberty, there was peace. Not much, but still people were hopeful about the future of the country. And that's why they contributed to the growth of the country, to the development of the country. As a government, as you can see, the last picture, where is the former, we had a fully functional government setup, a president, and a cabinet. Afghanistan history and culture-wise, it has ethnic groups, 14 ethnic groups. Majority are Pashtun, and the second largest ethnicity are Tajiks. We also have Hazaras and other minor ethnics or smaller groups. The languages which are spoken in Afghanistan, the two languages are official, not anymore. Pashto is the official language, but it used to be Dari and Pashto. We also had Uzbek speaking people, English speaking people also 5%. We had Turkmen, Urdu, Pashto, and other languages too. Afghanistan was very rich in terms of agricultural products. These are some of the numbers in terms of the exports and imports. But as you know, or as you may have heard, Afghanistan is full of natural resources. We have natural gas, petroleum, coal, copper, talc, and gold, sulfur. And we also have a lot of nuts, dry fruits, as you call them, statues, almonds, walnuts, and pine nuts, which is called jalghoza. And it was being exported all over the world. I once used to live in Bulgaria, and I saw the pine nuts, which were imported from Afghanistan. So they are quite tasty. Religion-wise, Afghanistan, as you know, 99% of the population of Afghanistan are Muslim, out of which there are two sects within the Islam. The Muslim community, the Sunni are 84%, and we have Shia. And we also had Sikh and Hindus who were living in the country in Afghanistan. And they were Afghans, basically, but after the fall of Kabul and the Taliban entered Afghanistan, they left the country. Unfortunately, they had to flee the country. They all migrated to India and to Canada and some other countries. We had one Jewish in the country, and he was the last living Jewish in Kabul. And his name was Zebulon Simintov. And he also left after Taliban took over Kabul, unfortunately. Buddhism and Zoroastrianism were dominant religions in Afghanistan before the introduction of Islam. Afghanistan culture, coming to Afghanistan culture, as you see, we had beautiful culture. These are our weddings, henna, dance. These are part of our culture. And what you see now, there's none of these. I'm showing these pictures and giving some information about these cultural things because we don't have them anymore. And it's a pity. Music, as you see, these are some of our music artists, some singers. We had some great singers, music bands and girls and boys, and everybody was taking part and they were into music. And music is banned. By the way, music is banned in Afghanistan right now. Sports, we had cricket team, football, martial arts, and other sports teams. And we had a lot of young generation really inspiring. We were very inspired by their achievements. They used to play different kind of sports. Not anymore, at least not girls. Girls are banned from playing sports. So girls are banned from everything. Women are banned from everything. Going to school, they're banned from going outside alone. They're banned from doing any kind of activity for their future, for their career. They cannot take part in sports. Girls cannot work. Girls cannot, wear the dresses they like. So they have to stay at home and give birth to babies, wash and clean as a slave. That's how the women are treated now in Afghanistan. This is also a part of our culture. Some of you may have, those who are in Afghanistan, I was asking a friend here about the Afghan food, so you might know about the Afghan food. We have some good food, people like it, and this is also part of our culture. This, on the right side, this mix of nuts you see, it's called haft mewa, 7 fruits, and it's being made on the New Year's Day, which will come on 21st of March. So our New Year is a solar calendar, which is the solar calendar, and the New Year starts on the first day of spring season, which falls on March 21st. We will have a New Year celebration in Indianapolis, and you're invited to come if anybody would love to. And yeah, so this is how our, our host, if we are a host and we are hosting guests, we will serve them with fruits, with food. This is Afghan food, different types of Afghan food. Some of you may have tried the food. Yeah, so that's how we serve our guests. As I always mention during my speeches, that Afghan people like to be guests and they like to host guests. So that sometimes you will have guests who will stay over for a week at your place. And you have to serve them with lunch, dinner, breakfast, a place to sleep, and shower and everything. You have to. And they would not, and they have to be very friendly and they have to smile all the time. Otherwise, the guest will be upset and they will not come back to you again because you did not serve them. And you have to cook different food, different recipes in different times or different days. So, and the weddings, as I mentioned, I'll go back. So the weddings we have, normally it lasts for a week, sometimes a month. So there are different kind of ceremonies, celebrations for the wedding. You have henna night and you have the reception, the wedding night. And the people you have to invite would be more than 400 or 500 people. Sometimes it can be 2,000 people at your wedding. That's why Afghanistan people cannot save, because they spend a lot. And we do have these big wedding halls where they can accommodate more than 2,000 people. So yeah, but unfortunately not anymore. We don't have those celebrations much. People are living in fear. They might have less income, so they cannot even afford to pay for their weddings. There's so many issues going on. This is what happened after the Taliban entered Kabul. As you can see, they are the Islamic fundamentalist group that ruled Afghanistan from 1996 until US-led invasion in 2001. But they also returned back to Afghanistan, and they returned to power in 2021, regrouping in Pakistan and some other countries, and insurgency against the US-backed government in Kabul. They also spark concerns. They impose harsh rules, neglect to provide basic services, and abuse human rights. These are some of, I'm sorry, these are some of the disturbing pictures. If you want me to skip them, I can skip them. But this is what happened in Afghanistan, was happening almost every day before they took even power in Afghanistan. There were suicide bomb attacks in the city. So for me as a working mom, when I used to go to work every day in the morning, there was no guarantee. I had no guarantee for myself that I would return alive back home. There was always this fear that some suicide bomber might hit our car, you know. Even in the city, when there were these huge blasts, you would see that a big part of the city was destroyed. All those buildings with glass windows were broken. People were even injured and killed by the pieces of glasses which were being broken during or destroyed of destruction of the buildings. So this was happening in the city. The babies you're seeing, these are the newborn babies. There was a huge attack on one of the maternity hospitals. They killed all the moms because they were from the minority sect, or which is called Hazaras or Shia. So the Taliban are anti-Shias, and they attacked and always targeted that minority. So they killed all the mothers. And there were like hundreds of newborn babies without their moms. So there were like hundreds of people rushed to the hospital to adopt these kids because they were left without mothers. So that's what happened. They had no mercy. They have no mercy on women. They are so rude. They're so harsh. They're so brutal. They just enjoy killing people, killing innocent women and children and men. Even their anti-social media, they don't like social media. They don't like women. The women you see in pink scarf, she was a journalist. She was a TV anchor, so they killed her. The other one, the top picture you see is a picture of a beauty salon. So when Taliban entered, they say, we don't want the women's face to be visible in the city. So they highlighted, marked all the pictures with the black ink, so the women's faces are not visible. On the very left side picture, that's the comedian. They even killed this comedian because they don't want people to have entertainment. They don't want people to be happy. And the women, when they started to go on strike and they oppose what they are doing in the country against the people, they start beating the women in the city. Why you have come for shopping? Why you're outside of your home? And what are you doing here? Where is your man? Where is your father or brother? So a woman has to be accompanied by one man to go outside just to buy a simple thing for herself, a dress, a medicine, or anything. Or if she goes to the hospital, if she is sick. So, and on the very last picture on the right side corner, these are all the media people, the journalists who were killed in these suicide bomb attacks by Taliban. My husband was also in the media sector, and he was working for one of the TV channels. Two of these guys here are his colleagues who were working in the same office with my husband. So yeah, like I said, Afghanistan has had a massive growth when the US Army and US allies were in Afghanistan. We had a lot of development and growth in infrastructure, in military, health sector, education sector, telecommunication, aviation, agriculture, and economic. They were, promoting trade and regional integration, custom, import, export, business, manufacturing industry, human rights and gender equality, humanitarian assistance. There were so many humanitarian organizations functioning in Afghanistan. That's where I used to work, and it was my last job. I was working for one of the international humanitarian organizations, and I was working for the US government grant. So I was working for the US government, basically. That's how we ended up here. So yeah, this is the day when the US left, the last soldier left Afghanistan, and then the Taliban entered Kabul. You can see the situation in the city, in the country. People were trying to find their ways to escape the country, the city, because they were in fear of being killed, being tortured, being kidnapped, and and all this. So as you see, this is the day when Taliban entered Kabul, and it was a chaotic situation in the country. I remember that day that, despite of all those fears and the threats that were there, because they were already the news, the Taliban are going to enter Kabul in a couple of hours. But we were surviving. We had to survive. We had to live. So I was going to a medical school. So I had early class morning. I went to school, and then I went to my work. My kids went to school. My husband at job, like us, everybody was, gone to their things. But after a couple of hours, our security people from my office came to everybody and said, you all have to go to the safe room. We had an underground safe room. You have to go there because the Taliban have entered Kabul. And then after that very moment, we did not know what to do. I mean, we just lost our minds because our kids are stuck in one part of the city. My husband is in another part of the city. I'm trying to call the telephone numbers of my kids' school. I cannot reach their school because probably everybody is calling anyone from their family or friends in the country. So all the telephone lines are so busy and there's too much traffic, so people cannot reach each other. And there's too much traffic jam in the city. All the cars have stopped. People just leave their cars and just make their ways back to home. They didn't care even about their cars. Wherever their car, they could park their car, they just park their car, even in the middle of the street, in the middle of the road. So there was no way for others to drive even. So yeah, and then I said, I need to go because I cannot get hold of my kids. After 2 hours, I received a call from my kid's teacher and crying. She was so terrified, and she said, we cannot take care of your kids anymore. You have to come and get your kids because Taliban can enter the school anytime. And my kids were going to one of the English international schools. So they were under target. And then I cannot reach my husband because my husband has gone to the bank to get our money because we had our money stuck at the bank in the bank account. So, we are all in the 3 different parts of the city and stuck, and there's no transportation, there's no taxi, nobody is giving you a ride. So I just lost my way what to do. So I had a baby back then. My daughter, she was 1 year old. So she was close to me. I got her from the daycare, and I had another colleague of mine, another lady. I said, I'm going to walk. So I had to walk probably 5 miles or 6 miles to reach to my area where I could get my kids. But, the city was so chaotic. I got a ride from my office, a car. So they dropped me in the, what you call downtown area. So I got to the downtown area. And from there, we could not drive on because all the roads were blocked. There were cars on the street parked and left by the people. Nobody cared whose car is that and nothing. So I could see the women and children just making their ways, escaping. Some people even entered the airport on empty planes. They thought there will be a flight and the plane will take off and they could make their way out of the country, which was not possible because there was no flight crew, there were no pilots, there was nobody even at the airport. And I could see that on the way, on the streets, normally on the main roads, you would see police checkpoints everywhere. Every mile away, there was a police checkpoint, especially in those days when the security was not good. But on that very day, there was no one on the streets. So we lost hope. We thought we have lost everything. We lost our life, we lost our kids, we lost everything. And what to do now? So I had to walk for almost 3 miles until my husband could reach to me, and he came in the car, and it was out of the downtown area. I was holding the baby and her bag, and you can imagine how I have walked 3 miles with a baby on my lap. So it was really difficult. And I could see on the street women and children running here and there and screaming and crying. A kid cannot run and he is injured, his leg is injured. And this was a situation, escaping fear and threat that we had that day. And we still could not recover our money from the bank accounts because those bank accounts are freezed. Like me, my other family members, my brothers, they used to work for US, one of them worked for US Embassy, the other one worked for the US military. We all had connection with the US government, military, and it's a lie. So that's why the people like us were under threat. And that's why it might be a question for the people why this big number of Afghans have been evacuated from Afghanistan and have come here. There might be some questions in your minds, but this is because we have supported the US mission in Afghanistan. We have put our lives at risk going to the bases, going to their camps. I was the bank manager and I was providing banking services for the US military camps. And there are 3 big camps I was mentioning to Doug because he has been to Afghanistan and he knows, like we had the bank branch in Bagram base in the ISAF headquarters, where the headquarters of the military was, and then also Kaya, which was the airport. That was also one of the big bases for the military. And this is the situation in the city on that very day, 15th of August. People, they're just trying to go on the bus stations, on the airport, on the plane. You also may have seen that video that 3 young guys, they climbed on the wing of the plane, of the military plane, and they thought they could get out of the country or at least go to the United States or any other country they could make their way. But unfortunately, they could not because they fell down and they all died. Yeah. So this is the situation. So we were one of those lucky families who could manage to leave the country on August 17th, 2 days later, after Taliban entered. That day when Taliban entered Kabul, we did not have electricity. We still don't have electricity back home. Now there are more issues with the income, with the employment, with the jobs and the businesses. Everything has collapsed. There's nothing in Afghanistan anymore. People are, they have hit the poverty level, and some people cannot even survive because they don't have food, they don't have money, and nothing, for living. But yeah, so this is what happened, and we could manage to leave the country. 2 days later, we were first brought into Doha in Qatar, and we stayed there for 20 days in a military camp, a US military camp. And after that, after 20 days, we were brought into the Saudi Arabia. So we had flights back and forth. We had to make 5 flights. We had 5 flights until we reached Indiana. And it was not an easy journey. Even at the airport, at the entrance of the airport, there was, I got injured. I had some fractured ribs because of one of the Taliban guy who was standing, and they were in charge of the security of the airport. Because he was arguing with me. I was in the front line, and he was asking me, why you are leaving the country? Why you are leaving your people? You should stay. And I said, no, I had to make an excuse. But anyhow, there was a situation. And this guy, he pushed me and I fell in the drain because we had to go from the backside entrance of the airport. And I had my 3 ribs fractured, and I got treatment in Doha in Qatar. So we came to Indiana. We stayed for almost 3 months in Camp Atterbury. And from there, we were resettled in Indianapolis by a family, by Exodus Refugee, the resettlement agency. So where I live, there are, in that apartment complex, 20 families are living. But before coming to the city at Camp Atterbury, there were 6,000 people, 6,000 Afghans were located there for a short while until they were resettled in the cities. So there I got to help and support. I was a volunteer. I was helping the military. I was a building leader for 200 people in a building, and I was helping with translation, donation, distribution, and all that. But when we came to the city, I got a job with the Marion County Treasurer's Office as financial manager. But before that, I got to work with one of the resettlement agencies called BSCI, Burmese American Community Institute, like Exodus. They are also resettling Afghan families and also Ukrainians. I worked with them as a case manager for a while. And then from there, I got to understand that the Afghan community, when they are brought here, they still have a lot of challenges which they are going through. They need help, they need assistance. So I plan to establish a nonprofit organization called Afghan American Community Center. This is an organization that we founded in last year, October, and this is to help and support the Afghan community here in Indianapolis. So yeah, and our objective is to help the Afghan families because the resettlement agencies, they are responsible for the first 3 months to provide you housing and get you the social benefits connected with the social benefits. But still, there are so many other things that these families are going through. One of the major issues they are facing right now is the employment or the right type of employment. So this is something that we want to spread the word, and we want to urge all those agencies and those communities who can help us, because there is a lot of potential in the Afghan, especially the young generation, but they need to be connected to the right resource so they can find right jobs, especially the women. We want to have some projects for the women empowerment, for women development, because they're sitting at home, stuck with their babies. They are not productive, but I know they have skills, they have potential, that they can go back to school, they can start working, and they can support and help their families, and they can build a career, something which they were not they did not have the privilege back home. So that's what we want. But I'm really grateful to be here, and this is my family. Actually, this is the plane, how we were brought in, the military plane, sitting on the floor. One of the planes that we were about to take to the United States, the air condition system of the plane broke down. So we got stuck for 3 hours in the plane with no oxygen. And there were kids and women who were passed out. We had a baby who was 6 months old, my nephew, and he had a hole in his heart. So he was about to die. So this journey was not easy for us. We had to leave our home in 5 minutes. I got a call from my brother that the US Embassy has called us to go to the airport in 5 minutes. And you can imagine what I could take with me in 5 minutes. I could just take one set of clothes for everyone, our documents, diaper and formula for my baby, and that's it. And we had to leave everything behind. And like I always say, I never had the chance even to turn off my refrigerator. Even I did not have a chance to look back what I'm leaving behind. Is there anything important that I have missed? But I lost my home. That's a really hard feeling, to lose your home, to lose your life, to lose your everything. And when I look back, I said, I am probably never be able to come back and live in this house where I worked for a very long time, for almost 19 years, and built this life for me, for my family, and for my kids. But it was really a hard journey. But we are very happy and fortunate to be here. This is Camp Atterbury, some pictures. And yeah, this is the life. This is where I work right now. We have got some friends. So we have started a new life. But we are very happy to be here. This is my life back home, my kids. These are my kids. So we had, as I said, we had just a normal life with our kids and families and going to school and all that. That's me and my husband. Yeah, and that's my job. I was the deputy for one of the biggest national banks in Afghanistan. So that's where I distribute this, and this is my family. So I'm here with my 4 siblings. We are 20 people in total. So all of us are here in Indianapolis and living in the same apartment complex. So yeah, so thank you, America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Najia. Wow, what an extraordinary story. And we're so grateful to have you with us. So, so grateful. With that, all I have to say is let's stand up and recite the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do. Fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned. And 5th, is it fun? And before I go, I just do want to mention that next week we will have Pete Yonkman from the Cook Group. What a contrast, but also what a fantastic thing to look forward to. Thank you all so much.